This is a needed reality check for modern dating expectations. Today's modern woman has a very high expectation of the successful gentleman that needs some discussion. There's certainly nothing wrong with having standards. All of us should have standards. But those standards should be reasonable based on your reality. Everyone wants to run a successful business, for example, but as the stats show, 90% of new businesses fail within the first year. What does that tell you? That you need two plans. One for your dream business and another more realistic plan that you execute at the same time just in case. The same is true of dating. What do you do if the highly successful, handsome gentleman you want simply ignores you? Will you keep holding out hope until you get past your prime years? Or will you reevaluate your expectations and bring them back down to reality before it's too late? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep this new channel growing. The reason these things have to be discussed in the dating and relationship world is that we are reaching a critical mass where more men are simply giving up. This can be an existential threat for the growth of the nation. Countries like South Korea and China have recognized the problem for themselves and are addressing it. But because of the overbearing modern womanist movement here, men are expected to simply remain silent and ignore the eventual decline in birth rates and marriages. That's not good long-term for our society. Getting back to our topic, let's use the fictitious example of a 29-year-old female registered nurse making $80,000 a year, for example, who is a single mom. Most people find her to be reasonably attractive. Men rate her about a 7 or 8, let's say. But she works a lot of hours, usually nights and weekends, and her children are her top priority, taking up a lot of her free time. Like a lot of modern women, she expects a man to make at least as much as she does, has his own car in place like her, is in good shape, at least 6 feet tall, handsome, no more than 35 years old, preferably has no kids but is okay with one as long as there is no baby mama drama, has to pay for all the dates, and be ready to take her traveling. Ladies, does this sound familiar? But people, how realistic are her chances, especially given how women generally want successful, highly sought after men to just magically find out where they are and pursue them, and not the other way around? Men who are desired don't have that kind of time to pursue women who are not making themselves available in their social circles. You have to make an effort. Did you pay attention to the details I described about this RN lady, this fictitious lady? Let's take a look at a day in the life of this modern woman. Reality check number 1. Like I said, she's an RN. How many of you know the insane schedule of an RN? Not only have I dated a few, I have relatives who are RNs as well. Even single, childless women who are RNs have no life outside of work. They often work double shifts or night shifts, which takes them out of their prime dating hours when the kinds of successful gentlemen they want are getting off work and headed to an upscale lounge or happy hour. How likely is it for her to meet such a guy? What is he supposed to? What is he supposed to just become a psychic and magically figure out where she works, get to her healthcare facility, get on his knees with flowers? Of course not. Wake up, ladies. This is not how men work, especially the kind of men you want. Unless he has a stroke and gets wheeled into her hospital, there's no doggone way she's going to have a chance at meeting such a guy. Reality check number 2. In addition to the schedule nightmare, she's a single mom. The schedule of a single mom is by itself a nightmare depending on the age of the child. Newborns to 3-year-olds will need practically all of her time outside of work. In addition, high-income guys have a pecking order of the kinds of women they consider. Why? Because almost every woman out there is looking for this kind of successful guy. And these guys are more rare than women realize. So not only does he have to compromise his selection criteria to try to date a busy RN, he now has to be second fiddle to the schedule of a young child that is not his. Have you lost your doggone mind? That's not how such men work. Reality check number 3. In addition to the schedule and the child, with, obviously a tough schedule there, he is expected to share your baby daddy being in the picture at times. No matter how strongly single moms try to convince successful men that there is no baby daddy issue, that she has it all under control, most men don't believe this fully. I, for a fact, have had a few encounters in the past with unexpected baby daddy drama after the women told me there was no problem there. Yeah, right. Only guys actually paid, one guy actually paid one of her relatives to go through her phone and find guys she's talking to. That's how he found me. And this guy looked me up online. Needless to say, that didn't go well. Plus, I had to issue an indirect threat to her, through her to him, to let him know, don't dig any further. I don't care how big and bad he thinks he is. So lesson learned. Baby mamas don't have full control over their baby daddies, despite their promises. Ladies, just be realistic about this so that the next guy knows what he might be getting into. I know not all single moms have that kind of drama, but some do, so just be realistic and just say, hey, there might be an issue here. I don't know him. I can't control him. Just say that. Be honest. Reality check number 4. Now that you know the challenges of her lifestyle, how likely is it that she knows all the places that high-income, successful guys hang out at? From personal experience, I can tell you these kinds of women have no clue. They are too busy with work and children to come up with a good itinerary for going to restaurants, lounges, and social circles that such gentlemen go to. And that's a reality they have to understand. I mean, you can dream all you want, but you got to make your dream a reality by figuring out where these guys hang out at. Reality check number 5. Given her inexperience with finding such locations where men like that hang out at, what's the likelihood she would have enough practice to know how to make herself available to the kind of man she wants once she's even there? Most modern women will get offended at even the thought of questioning a woman's social graces in such evening settings. But being eloquent and educated does not automatically mean a woman knows how to present herself to the kinds of high caliber men women desire. They generally don't unless they have consistent practice at it. Most women hate rejection more than men do, so they tend to be more socially awkward when trying to find such men. Given her busy schedule, it is very unlikely that she will drive out to such spots and be proactive in presenting herself in a feminine manner that wins the guy over and makes him want to pursue her. Reality check number 6, the last one. Most modern women want men to come to their environment to chase them because the Bible says, a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. Their favorite quote. This is basically the foundation of the logic most entitled women use when mandating that men come to them in their house, it seems, or at their workplace to get on one knee and propose to them. I'm being a little silly here, but generally speaking, women today have a very unrealistic, unpractical, or impractical notion of men pursuing them. Successful, highly sought-after gentlemen are not chasing women the way those women try to dictate. Every woman has this drill sergeant idea in their Disney World heads of how they want their magical future husband to pursue them. With this approach, it's 100% one-sided, where the woman does absolutely nothing, but the man does everything possible to woo her, date her, put a ring on it, take her on a fantasy honeymoon, give her babies unless she decides her existing child is enough. Then if she gets bored with marriage, he's supposed to just accept it, pay her child support, alimony, and over half of all his assets, and he's supposed to just disappear. This is a doggone insane approach to men pursuing women. This is exactly why good men are fleeing the dating and relationship scene in increasing numbers. Hopefully you get the idea by looking at all the reality checks of the typical modern woman with her extreme high fantasy expectations of men. Their approach to men chasing them is not only impractical, but impossible, which is why such busy women tend to end up alone. Of course, you have those narrow-minded modern women who will come over here and say, "That's not true. I know plenty of nurses who are single moms and men want them all the time." But then, when you drill them with questions to get more specifics, you come to find out they only know one or two nurses who are side chicks of high-paid men who just happen to find them at the hospital either when they went there for an annual physical or were visiting a patient of theirs that they know, or a patient friend of theirs they know. Of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, but ladies, if 99% of such women have a hard time finding a good man to marry, then don't exaggerate the 1% as representing all women. That is mathematical dishonesty. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep this new channel growing. Until more modern women have these kinds of tough reality checks and find practical strategies for finding great men, the apocalypse of good men will continue. Welcome to the Brother Apocalypse.